coming. Ma, yeah, the doctor. I didn't hear her. Sorry, I'm coming. Hold on. Yeah. Sorry. So who do you network with? Nobody. All right, so meet our sister. It's a networking period. You don't know, maybe she's the next huge researcher that you need to collaborate with. So network with her. I'm coming back. Sir, who do you network with? What's her name?
Goodness. Goodness. Yeah.
What do you know about her?
Him.
Okay, him.
Yeah.
You don't want her?
No, you say him.
You say it's him. Okay, so what's the him? Who is the him? Goodness.
Yeah, the guy sits.
Oh, all right. So tell us a little about Goodness. Just a little. What you know about him?
It's my course rep.
Okay, it's your course rep.
Yeah. It's one short boy like this.
It's a short boy.
Yeah, one short boy like this.
Mr. Goodness, they say you're a short boy.
I know. A short boy like this. He's very stubborn too.
All right,
But it's my friend. Yeah.
All right, thank. You already know Goodness because Goodness is your class rep already. So you need to meet another person. So I'm coming back to you too. Who do you meet?
The lady that just went out.
What's her name?
Shayo. She's a 400 level physiology student.
You are meeting her for the first time or second time?
Second.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much. A beautiful round of applause for them. Let's clap now. Is it because we are still eating our snacks and drink? Let's give them a round of applause, please. All right, very quickly, we'll be going to workshop 1. And I would like to call on Dr. Adeoti Adeniro. She'll be facilitating that session together with the interactive section for mentor and mentee pairing. So you're welcome, ma.
Good afternoon, everyone. I believe we are enjoying this meeting. Okay, so now is the time to launch our mentorship program. So we have launched this. We have tried to send messages to prospective mentees. And I believe some of you have responded. If you have not responded, please do well to respond now. How many people have responded to the message sent? Okay, so if you have not done that, just respond. It's just a response, a short one. So send to that email so that we can know how we will pair you. Okay, so I just want to give a brief about mentorship, what it is and what it is not. Okay, now, we have tried to do this setup by enlisting the interest of prospective mentors. And we have also sent messages to prospective mentees. So, by this, when we get responses from you, we'll be able to pair you according to what you have suggested or selected. Now, this mentorship thing does not double up or cannot replace your supervisor. It's just a way to enhance your career growth in physiology. So that's why we are doing this. So your supervisors remain your supervisors. And your mentors are not working with your supervisors. Your mentors are only there to guide you. So, and this program will be on for 6 months. So we want you to take advantage of this opportunity for 6 months. And after 6 months, we are going to be reviewing what has been done. So there's going to be a feedback by assessments. Mentors will assess what has been done. Mentees will also assess what has been done. So we will follow up on that as this program progresses. Okay, so how it will go, the details of how it will go, we will send it to mentors and mentees. But generally, the essence of this mentorship is to give physiologists clearer pathways to their progress in physiology. We also want to facilitate collaboration. If there's something you are interested in doing, your mentor will be able to guide you properly to the right person if they are not the right people. Okay, so it doesn't have to do with your interest. If you are paired with someone who is not working in your area of interest, don't worry about that. Your supervisor will be able to guide you, but your mentors will be able to show you opportunities and will be able to help you understand what you want to aim to achieve in physiology. Okay, so this program is for our undergraduates, our postgraduate students, and for anybody who wants to be mentored. So, and like I said earlier, it will go on for 6 months after pairing and after the start date. The start date should be from the 1st of April. Okay, now to the mentees and mentors, there will be some set of rules that will be guiding us that I will talk about briefly here. We will still receive them in hard copies so that we will know what we can, our boundaries, so that we can understand our boundaries. Okay, so for mentors, mentors are to provide guidance and share their experiences in physiology with their mentees, whoever is the mentee they are paired with. Mentors are also responsible to support mentees' research progress, like showing them how to publish and all the likes, everything around that. Then at the end of everything, we will encourage mentors to provide measurable goals for assessment of the program. Okay, so to mentees, this mentorship program is going to prepare you for further progress in your research and career life. So set your goals, know what you want, because your mentors will ask you what exactly do you want. They will be able to properly guide you. Even if it is not what they are doing, they will guide you and they will guide you properly to it, and you will be able to do what exactly you want to do. So make sure you actively participate. If your mentors are opening up opportunities like training you on some things, make sure you make yourself available. So we have a few code to conduct this program. So the code of conduct. 1, for both mentors and mentees, we want to maintain and respect our confidentiality. So it is important we make our discussions confidential. It's not something, it's a privilege to be mentored, and it's also a privilege to mentor. So please, we want to maintain confidentiality. It is very key. We also want to maintain professionalism in our interaction, whether communication or activities. We want to be professional. So approach your mentors like you are approaching someone, like you are approaching them formally. They are not your brothers, they are not your uncles, they are not your friends. They are your mentors. And mentors, please, we also implore you to be professional in our relationship with mentees. Some have some edges that we should not, there are some points that we should not cross. So those boundaries, let's leave them as boundaries, please. Okay? So also, let us avoid conflicts of interests and every form of conflict, please. Let us avoid them. If at any point we sense that there's going to be conflicts, we can refer back to us, and we will know how to handle that. We hope there will be no conflicts, and We pray this is going to end well for both mentors and for mentees. The goal is for us to form a strong bond for collaboration now and for the future. So I wish us a successful mentor-mentee interaction. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, you may ask me. If there are none, I think I can leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Adeniro. A round of applause for Dr. Adeniro, please. So we'll be going to workshop part 1, like I said earlier, and I would like to invite Dr. Victor Omojewi. Imojewi, yeah. He told me now, and don't worry, I will learn. I was saying that I murdered our keynote speaker's name yesterday, but I've learned. Should I pronounce it? You want me to pronounce it? Don't worry. Don't let me murder it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Now, welcome to this session of workshop. Once again, being the chairman organizing committee, I will keep welcoming you and appreciating your presence. And today, this afternoon, I have a very simple job to discuss an aspect of teaching. Because many a time, what we do in this job is to teach students. So we want to discuss how we can pass across a very vital part of how we do pass across the information we have for the student today, and the best way we think that is necessary for us to adopt to teach them so that they will understand. Now, from yesterday to the early hours of today, we'll be discussing AI, discussing machine learning, and the rest of them. But this time around, we're deviating from the science that we have been discussing since yesterday, and now we're moving to partly education. Are we together? And for us to do that, we'll be discussing the title Experiential Learning. I remain my humble self, Dr. Victor Omojewi. And like the first presenter today, I want to start by asking us a simple question. Now listen, it is a workshop session. I'm going to be teaching us a style of teaching. So I also want to adopt the same style while teaching you. So instead of doing the normal didactic methods or the old methods that we are trying to jettison, I will try as much as possible to make the conversation an interactive one. Remember, it is a workshop. I'm not giving a talk like the speakers gave yesterday, because after they were done with their talk, they were not meant to be asked questions. We just decided to bring up one or two questions to be able to pass, to know how you feel about the program. That's why we brought those few questions. But so today, you may have the time to ask questions. So we'll try as much as possible to make it an interactive session. So now the question is this. If you have two teachers, one comes to you and take you and make you part of the teaching, make you to decide the pace and the way you want to be taught. And at the end, you feel that you will enjoy it. Another one comes and dictates how you should be taught. So you are not a stakeholder to deciding how you should be taught. Out of these two teachers, which one of them would you prefer? Now, we'll answer this by the end of this conversation. So I'll be starting with experiential learning. So I want to see the slide, please. Now, experiential learning is a learner-centered philosophy and instructional methodology that foregrounds direct experience, purposeful reflection, and the application of knowledge to real-world context. According to Kong et al. 2021. Okay. Now, also, it can be put as a philosophy and methodology in which educators purposefully engage students in direct experience and focused reflection to increase knowledge, develop skills, and clarify values. What it means is that the focus is on the students. It is student-centered. The student decides how they should be taught, how they want to learn, how they want to understand. Now, let me take us back to when we were growing up as kids. What happened? Our parents will say, don't touch this, don't do this, don't do this. They have been deciding for us. And it will not get to a stage you were asked to go to institutions from primary to secondary to highest level you went. And in that period, those process, you were also dictated to at a point. Now, there's a bigger point or a greater part of it that you find it difficult to cope with someone dictating how you go about your daily life. It got to a point that even when your parents say don't go out, you find it difficult to cope with that because you're picking your clothes that you want to go out and feast one or two. You have a reason for it. It goes on and on. And to the extent that you came to school, or you went to this a higher institution, you were still being treated the same way. What happened? The student will at the point start losing focus. They will feel bullied. And that is what experiential learning is telling us about. That this style of learning is student-centered. And the philosophy and methodology in which educators purposefully engage the students, that is, the students should be engaged purposefully in direct experience. Not only in direct experience, they also focus on reflection to increase knowledge. Next slide, please. Now we have other definitions. Although I will say that experiential learning is also referred to as learning through action. I want to explain this. It's a kind of learning through which the student take action, or the learner take action. Not just take an action by doing something. Remember, in every action, there is a reaction, we're taught, right? So you take an action by doing something. And the reaction, the effect, will be felt by the same students. Are we together? The effect will be felt by the same students. So if it is positive, the student will feel the effect. If it is negative, the student will feel the effect. So the students take responsibility for their actions. Then, in that way, they learn through experience. We also taught that experience is the best teacher, right? So when they are meant to experience situations, they are meant to experience the event, the actions, or the teaching process, or whatever you want to use to teach them. If they are meant to experience it, then they will learn better. Then in addition to that, they learn through discovery and exploration. So this type of teaching, or this type of lecturing, give them opportunity to discover, to explore, rather than the chief of class staff, which is the lecturer or the teacher, just dictating to them that this is what you must do, this is how you must learn. Now, it has, over the years, in education, we have studied, or it has been studied, that some very intelligent teachers, their students find it difficult to understand them, to get the message. Why? Because they have too much to deliver, too much to give out. So they give out everything at the same time. When they are done teaching, they call the class to an end, to a close. Are we together? Remember I said that this is a workshop. It's not going to take the form of yesterday. So if I'm going that direction, HOD, please signal me. So I want it to be interactive. So, what happened is that because someone is dictating, is directing how the class should go, is in charge. Remember, we are supposed to actually be in charge of the classroom. As a teacher, or as a lecturer, whoever you are, or the instructor, we are supposed to be in charge of the classroom. But being in charge of the classroom, do you allow the student to discover? Do you allow them to explore? The art or the focus of experiential learning is on the doings. Do they do anything? That is what we're after. Now, experiential learning, according to Wondriga and Carlson in 2010, they put experiential learning as where students are involved in learning content in which they have personal interests, needs, and wants. Most parents tell their children to go and study medicine. So we say, I'm a teacher, go and become a teacher. This student will go, or this child will go to school, struggle to the rigorous in the training of a medical doctor, and do nothing with it at the end of the training. Why? Because it is not what they need. It is not their personal interest. If it is in your personal interest, one, you know you are going to take responsibility for whatever that is going to happen. Are we together? You know you will take responsibility. Since you know whether the reaction is positive or negative, you are the one that will bear the effect. You know how to invest your time, and you know how to tailor whatever you are doing towards your needs and wants. Now, most of us that are involved in teaching process, according to Wondiga and Carson, self-faculty should also actively involve the student in learning process through discussion. Now we'll come to that. We discovered that in medicine, or the basic medical sciences, or sciences generally, when we were not taught to be educators, we are not trained teachers. Yes, some of us will have our master's degree, we got our PhD, and we started lecturing. So the rudiments of teaching, the rules governing teaching, and how students should be taught were not taught. But when you go back to those in the kindergarten, those in primary school, you discover that they are being taught by qualified teachers who can listen to them, and even when the students are misbehaving, they have the level of tolerance that they can use, with which they can tolerate, and you have to pass the information needed. You'll be so surprised that your child at home does not listen to you much. But that child, whenever you talk to the child will keep mentioning my teacher. My auntie said that. My master said that. Are we together? Why? Because it is because of the way they are tutored or they are trained in school. Those people were trained teachers. So in the University of Medical Sciences, knowing fully well that most of the people coming around to seek for lecturing job, they are not trained teachers. The management deemed it fit that every lecturer, everybody that must be a lecturer in Unimed, if you must be a lecturer, if you must teach the students, then you must undergo a training, a kind of training in education. And that training is training of pedagogy. without which you cannot even register as a staff. Yes, you have appointment letter as a lecturer. You have been appointed as senior lecturer, assistant professor, as a reader, professor. Yes, you have the title, you have the letter, but you cannot teach. Why? Because you have not been trained. Are we together? So, in this, because if you are not trained, you will not be able to teach these students the way they should be taught. For example, I will still talk about objective of lecture or objective of courses later as we progress. For example, you will discover that lecturers, because they are commander-in-chief when they were in school, which is their own lecturer, set some classes or category of questions. When they come to class, they want to replicate the same thing. Then they will start asking some of those questions. So after when we analyze the questions that are being set by colleagues, that are being set by lecturers, it's clear that the questions that we set for year 2 students, even at PhD level, they should not face that level, that complexity of questions. Why? Because the commander-in-chief of the classroom where we were in school said, discuss extensively, giving reasonable, or proving beyond all reasonable doubts, then discuss the mechanism of action of this, that. You were trained with that. Remember, the children, I said earlier, that as they grow, it is what their teacher teaches them in school. And because they are closer, they spend more time with their teachers. They know more than what you are teaching them at home. If your own children are the type that do attend extramural lessons, that before you get home will be 6 p.m., God help you. That they will never know anything about your moral values. They don't even know anything about what you teach them at home. So because of that, because we have been taught, we have grew with that pace or with that nature that our teachers are dictating, and they will say, go discuss what we want to replicate that. And that affects the level of understanding of the student, and that affects the performances of the students. I remember some time ago, we attended a training, and in this training, the facilitators some were from China, some were from Germany, and from different places. And we had the training here in Nigeria. Sorry to say, I've not traveled out before, right? Unlike these people that have traveled around the world. Now, we had the training in Nigeria. When I saw the way these white men taught me in a new field, a field I've not been to before, I discovered that teaching is actually very easy. I discovered that students should not fail if properly taught. In the real sense, if the information is properly disseminated to the students, and the student is put at the center of the lecture, the student is the focus of the lecture. It means that when the student is not satisfied, the lecture should not end. Except there is a timing. You can make every other adjustment to ensure that the student is properly taught. Now, you are managing a class. Sorry, I will continue. You are managing a class of 5 students. 3 failed. Then 2 pass. That is 40%, right? Now, another person is managing a class of 10 students. 6 pass, 4 failed. That is 60%. Another person is managing a class of 100 students. And 70 pass, 30 failed. Which one is the best teacher? I want us to answer this. I come again. We have a class of 5 students. Okay, let me readjust it. We have a class of 5 students. 2 failed instead of 3 now. 2 failed. And 3 passed the exams. meaning that 60% pass, right? Now you have another class of 10 students. I'm rephrasing the question. Then 6 pass the exam, 4 failed, the same 60% pass. Then you have another class of 100 students. 60 pass the exam instead of 70 now. Then 40 failed. It means that the three categories will have 60% pass. But which of them can be adjudged to be the best teacher? The first one that has 5 students. Just hold on. Our daddy said that the one that has 6 students, 5 students, and 3 pass, which is 60%, is the best. Any other opinion? Okay. Our guest speaker says the one that has 60 out of 100. Now, let me explain. You are teaching few persons. It is expected that you have more one-on-one communication with them. There should be a close rapport between the teacher and the student. Apart from that, it is easier to manage such class because the class is manageable. It's expected that whatever information that you are passing to them, they should understand better. That in the class, I remember when I was in 100 level, we were in science auditorium, we were about 2,000 plus, receiving lecture in a 500 class, 500 capacity class. I was in 100 level, throughout my 100 level, year 1 in school, I entered the classroom 5 times. It took the grace of God for me to pass. My brother knows how science auditorium in Desu was back then. Before they started post-UTME to reduce the numbers of students that they admit. In my first day in school, I found it difficult to enter the class. I was a bit discouraged. Second day in class, I could not enter. Do you know why? Those that live around in the hostel, they will go to class to read overnight. And by 5 a.m., they will go home, go to their hostels and take their bath. They will leave their bags there. And they will keep some of them there to guide the bags. And when they come back, what happened? They will take their seats. So, and for a class that's supposed to be 8 a.m., me, I will be leaving my house by 7 a.m. When you get there, even when you leave by 6 a.m., the best position you can get is outside the window side, outside the hall. He knows. And the 5 times I was able to access the classroom in 100 level was because one mathematics teacher, lecturer, said that he cannot be managing this large class. That he want to split the class into 2. Male will come in first. So the class is supposed to be 2 hours. The males will come in 1 hour, then the female 1 hour. Then the next set, female will come in first, male will follow. So that he was doing. So the first time I entered the class, I saw how the class was. Now, the reason that if this is the blackboard, this is where the teacher is standing, students are sitting here. They won't be able to see the blackboard. But what they are just interested in is to be able to hear and take notes. That was how we did it. Now, on the fifth, now some of us that will go by 7, we stand outside the door, outside the window. There's one armored tree around, so we keep standing position for our friends. Now, how do we keep standing position? If this is where you are standing close to the window, you stand like this. When your friend comes, you will do like so that your friend can. So we keep standing position. It took the grace of God for those of us that succeeded in that environment, that were able to skate through. It took the grace of God for us. Now, just imagine managing such a class. And you have 60% pass. And managing 5 students, you also have 60% pass. I think we should give the lecturer that took over 2,000 students a round of applause. Don't you think he deserves that? Let's clap for the teacher. Now, this went on and on. Now, it was on the fifth time that I accessed the classroom. Those of us that were standing outside, you know, when the females are coming out through the door, you see the stampede, the crowd outside. It was difficult for us to access, so some of us were passing through the window, so we broke the glasses. So by the time we did that, the lecturer said he was not going to teach us again. And we ended that way, but we wrote the exam and passed the exam by the grace of God. So, what is experiential learning telling us about here? That irrespective of the class size, that's why we will have minimal class size and the rest of them in education that a teacher or a lecturer should be able to manage. But because the management of most institutions, they need money to pay salary. For example, NUC on its own has so much demand. In physiology department, there are numbers of lecturers, professors at every lecturers at every cadre that is needed for you to pass NUC accreditation. So in order to meet up with it, they will keep admitting me. I will support the management because I want to be paid. All right. So being paid in a harsh teaching environment, what do? We need a different style of teaching that will be student-centered. That we make faculty to actively involve the student in the learning process. That they will be involved in discussions. That is, when I come, I should do less of the work. The students should do more of the work. That is what it means. The students should do more of discussion. They should do more of group work. And they'll do hands-on and apply information outside the classroom. Are we together? Now, all these definitions, they are clearly defined by some maxims. For example, one of the founder of Americas, United States of America, Benjamin Franklin, said that, tell me and I will forget. Teach me and I will remember. Involve me and I will learn. What it simply means that when you are the commander of the chief commander of the class and you are dictating, you are telling them, keep telling them. When there's a level you get to that these students will get frustrated. They are just there taking notes. And they will jot as much as possible that when they want to read their notebooks will now look like textbooks. Have you been in that position before? That you wrote your own notebook, your notes you took in class, when you are about reading them, they look so abstract, look so difficult for you to understand. That's what you do to the students when they are not the focus of the lecture. When the lecture is the instructor centered. Are we together? So teach me and I will forget. So when you teach them, what it means that they will forget. So for them to remember, they will go back to the notes. If they did not remember your face, like those of us that enter class 5 times in 100 level, even the lecturer might never remember the face. You only know the name. So you don't even know the name. How would you remember what you were taught? So teach me, I will forget. We forget. I also remember in GS, we never enter class. 2 nights to the exam, we were 3 in my room. We taught the textbooks into 3. So when you finish with your part, you give to the other person. That's how we read. I didn't even know the person that taught me GS. Imagine managing such a class. So when you teach them, they will forget. When you tell them, they will forget. When you teach them, explain to them, they will try and recall. They will try and remember. But when you involve them in the process, they will learn. Then, Confucius, the Chinese philosopher, said that I hear and I forget, which is the same thing with tell me and I will forget. I see and I remember, that is, teach me, show me, and I will remember. Like we are using PowerPoint today, so that you can see. And that was one of the reasons that PowerPoint and other virtual means, multimedia means of teaching evolved. But I do, and I understand. So when we involve them, when they are involved in the doing, remember, when I was doing, when I started with division, I said it is centered on the doing. So when they do, so the students do the doings, then you assess their doings. Are we together? You assess their doings. That is what it is all about. So this timeless maxim captures the essence of experiential learning, which involves active involvement, creating deeper understanding of the retention of information. Now, these are founders of experiential learning. I will skip this because of time. Now, this is the transformative approach. What are the steps? What are the things that are involved in experiential learning? Unlike the traditional classroom setting, where students may compete or remain disengaged, experiential learning creates a corporate environment where students learn together through semi-structured and real-world experience. What it means is that in this kind of teaching, students sit together. Do you know that when you teach, most of us pass because our colleagues, our classmates explain to us. The classmate of students that were able to pick the subject matter when the topics are being taught in class, explain to the student better. Why? They will come very low to explain in a way they will understand. You can see now when the man was saying this, look at what he said, look at what he did. Okay, you can just imagine when you go to the market, they will have their own explanation. On scientific or on educational way of explaining it, but students will understand. Then another focus is that when the student, okay, I will explain that later. When the student is giving it back to you, they will give it in their own way. That's why when you are marking some script, you discover that it is not the same way you dictated in class that the students are giving you. Their classmates have explained that they have explained to them, and they understood it that way. So it's not left for you to look for the key points of what you expect them to understand, to know from the topic you are teaching them. If Group A will speak on this, Group B will come together. They will interact. So they will cooperate. They will learn from one another. Somebody will have a story that was told by the teacher in secondary school, primary school, or the parents. That person will bring that into it. Before you know it, they will come up with a fantastic presentation that you yourself might not even have idea of some of those information. Remember, yesterday we were taught AI. These students, they make use of this AI more than you. You go and read guide phone to browse one thing and bring all this information together. But when they sit, they'll be able to share their ideas with, so they work cooperatively out together rather than competing. They don't compete. But when you teach them in class, you are just dictating to them, they will end up competing. Remember, in the exam, they are not allowed to spy. They are not allowed to cheat. But you know that there are some exams that we call open exams, that you are even allowed to carry textbook. I've written that before, that you are even allowed to carry textbook. My brother and my sister, I bet you, if you see the answer in the textbook. But then you must still you must have your way around the textbook before you be able to answer the questions. But these students, they don't have access to it. Remember, when they are caught, they will be expelled. They know all these rules. They don't want to cheat. So, but when you allow them to work together and they're able to cooperate together, what A knows, B will know at least 70% of it. And that is what helped them in the next level. Then the instructor act as facilitator. What does the instructor do? The instructor will just engage students in direct experience tied to real-world examples, real-world problems, with the instructor giving guiding rather than directing the progress. So the instructor just guide them. I want you 5 in a group, and you do this, and you have 30 minutes to do it. Then after which, I want one of you to come and represent the group and present. That is what we are trying to discuss here. Now, aside that, the next thing is that the students become more motivated because they are involved in the doings. Are we together? Because they are involved in the doings, they become more motivated And because they have personal stakes, rather than being subjected to do whatever you want them to do. So the key distinction between this kind of learning and the other is that experiential learning emphasizes the learning process over the products. It is the process. We're interested in this kind of learning. We're interested in the process rather than the outcome. Remember, if it is student-centered, if it is focused on them, they know that they are stakeholders. They want to be responsible for their mistakes. And when they are responsible, they don't want to be tied to negativities. No student is happy that is being tagged being negative in the class. No student, unless the person is mad. Since they are not happy, they want to do their best. At times you think that the student is not doing well, but the student is actually doing his or her best. There are so many factors that make students not to do well that we will not be able to discuss in this presentation. Now, back to the foundation. This was the foundation is tied to the theory. Now I've given us a brief background of how it started, and David Cobb came up with a theory, and from his experiment, and he created a learning cycle. And the learning cycle works in this way. The students we have concrete experience. Now, what is the concrete experience? Let me start with this. Let's assume this is a peak flow meter. We all know peak flow meter, right? We are physiologists. We know peak flow meter. Or you know bones. Now, let's say this is the peak flow meter. You give it to the students. A student look at it, have experience, feel it. That is what we mean by experience. They will be part of it. When you give them the topic, they will go to the textbook, right? They will look at the topics. They will read the text, so they have experience. They experience it. Aside that, the second level will be reflection. They will reflect, this is peak flow meter. What do we use it to do? How can we use it? What are the steps? They're already reflecting on okay, have I used it before? Their past experience, if there is any. If there is none, the present experience, they will analyze it. That is the second level. They do reflective observation. Then the next one, they'll do abstract conceptualization. That is, they will conceptualize the procedures. They will look for how they will be able to find solution to the problem. They will come up with an idea. That is conceptualization. They'll come up with an idea. Then, in the process of doing that, they are involved in active learning. Why? Because the idea came from them. Are we together? Are we together? Because the idea came from them. And they want to learn in their own, even if there are many. The one that is acting as the commander-in-chief of the group will be faulted. You say, you are bullying us. Before you know, they are fighting. So you now, as the instructor, you go and guide them. You don't have to fight. This is how you go about it, so on and so forth. So the core principles of experiential learning is divided into 6. The first one I've told us about reflection and experience. So they carefully choose, the teachers carefully choose experiences supported by critical values, reflection, and sentences. All right? Now, the other one is active construction. Students actively pose questions. You see that they will ask themselves questions. Jane, what do you think that this can bring? What do you think that this is used for? Because they are involved in it. Remember, in your normal classroom, where you are teaching, in your traditional classroom, where you are teaching, students are not meant to be discussing. Their discussion might distract you. But at times you discover that the class is noisy, they are discussing. If you go closer to them without bullying them, and you listen to their topic of discussion, most of them are discussing the subject matter. Some have read it before. They are trying to explain to their classmates so that they will understand it, because they feel that the classmate cannot understand what you are saying. Are we together? So this one give them sense of belonging. Then you see, as I've told us about cooperative learning, They cooperate together to come up with ideas rather than a highly controlled environment where only one person is the one dictating what is going on. Then, the instructor, the role of the instructor is just to act as facilitator. For example, I told us about grouping a class the other time. You group the class into 5, for example. Let me use that again. And you gave them top. What you do is to facilitate. By so time, we'll be having presentation. And the presentation is on this. You have to give so topic. You have to present on this. And by that they come together, they'll be able to present it. Now, if we go back. Sorry, I want to take us back a bit. Slide 2, please. Okay, it's okay. Now, if you go to this picture by the right-hand side, you discover that look at the drainage. There's a lady inside the drainage with a clearing tool, walking, giving the instruction to how the other ones, that is the children or the other ladies, how they should clear, how they should weed, how they should clear the drainage. This is leading by example. Abi, we call leading by example. Apart from that, making them to do the doings. And the outcome of it will be so productive that you can now say that the teacher is showing the workings. How is the teacher showing the workings? The students have passed. They will go for any professional exam anywhere in the world and pass it. Meaning that now look at the other one. The one in front. You see the mother molding a clay pot. All right? Molding a clay pot. Then the children are experiencing it. You can see they are experiencing it. They are feeling it. They are touching it. They are helping. After some time, even when the mother is no more around, you see the children doing it themselves because they have been involved in the doings. Continue. Okay. So just stand by, please. So the next one, I said the facilitator, the instructor act as facilitator. So the lecturer act as facilitator to guide the class. Remember, if you are teaching a very large size of a class, it might be difficult, it look difficult, but it's still the best way for the majority of the students to understand. Then, with this, the students will have personal connection with whatever they are being taught. They have connection with the topic, and because they are what? They are involved. Then, they will now have what we call future foundation. Because you have trained them in the process, they now have the foundation. They learn, the learning results are personal to them. They cannot go because of their own experience. That's why you discover that you can give the same work to 3 artisans to do. They will not do it the same way because they have different level of commitment during training, right? And they have different level of experience. And now you cannot say that one is better than the other. Are we together? Next slide, please. Next slide. Media. Next slide, please. Now, here is the learning process in experiential learning. 1, there's a hand-on doings with minimal instructor interventions. Then we have the sharing process, which has to do with discussing observation, reactions, and feelings. So they are meant to discuss whatever they observed. They'll discuss together first, and when they come to the general class, they'll be able to tell you what they get from there. Then, the next one is processing. Just hold on. So the next one is processing. They're able to process. Then, the last one is applying. One, they will generalize and they will not apply. Because they'll be able to apply whatever they learned. They will not forget it. Are we together? Are we together? All right. Next slide, please. Now, having said this about experiential learning, experiential learning has two components. There is two class categories of people are involved. We have the teacher, which is the instructor. Then we have the students. Like Dr. Adeniro told us about the mentor-mentee business we were discussing the other time. She said that there are always guidelines to guide the mentors and to guide the mentees. Are we together? So the same way, the instructor, there's a guideline for this kind of learning. In the sense that the instructor have their own roles and the students have their roles. Now, what are the responsibilities of the instructors? The instructor, they are to accept a less teacher-centered role. That's the first thing. If you don't accept it, you will fault whatever they are doing. You will fault whatever method they are applying. So you have to first accept it that, yes, let me allow these people to make the mistake. I will correct. After all, you are the lecturer. You are the instructor. You know more. It is expected that you know more than them, right? So by that they come up with what you think that is not good enough, you'll be able to correct them. So the first thing is to allow them to take charge. Then you identify personally you identify personally meaningful experiences. So you create meaningful experience. You can return back, please. You create meaningful experiences. You are the one that will create it for them. Okay, this you must do. You have identified it, so they will go and do it. Then you share the learning purpose clearly. That is the learning objective. One of the areas that we that are not trained lecturers, trained teachers, get it wrong is that we don't even follow the objective of the course. And when we want to set question, we said, like I said earlier, so we have to create an objective. That's the learning purpose. What do you expect the student to get? At the end of this lesson, the student will be able to learn this. The students will be able to define, should be able to state. So if the objective is that the student should be able to state, when you are setting your question, the question should be state. If the objective is the student should be able to understand, when you are setting the question, your question should be explain. Are we together? So now, to understand that better, we go to the Bloom's taxonomy, which I don't want us to delve into now. Then the next one is you allow the student to discover. You balance academics and nursery aspects. Then you clarify the roles and expectation. Are we together? Those are the roles of the teacher or of the instructor. Next slide, please. So for the students, what they are interested, what they should have is active participation. And one, it involves personal involvement. Two, they have freedom with purpose. Remember, you are giving them the clear goals, the purpose of the assignment. So that is what will guide their freedom. They will not misuse it. Then they will embrace challenges because as they are doing it, they will be observing challenges. You say, no, let's go and look for another textbook. Those are the way they work to get it done. Then the next one is self-evaluation. They first of all evaluate themselves before you evaluate them. Then what happened? There's openness to changes. The next slide, please. Both the students, the learners, and the teachers, they will be open to changes. Now, how do we implement this experiential learning? It can be implemented in 4 phases. One is the planning. Second one is preparation. The third one is facilitating. The role of the facilitator, or that's facilitation. Then the last one is evaluation. Now, your planning must match with your evaluation. For example, if you have to teach them, look at the picture. I put different diagrams there. You see a preparatory stage. For your planning, is part of your preparatory stage. You plan it. This is what I'm going to teach them with peak flow meter. Then you bring it to the table. This is the peak flow meter. This is how we do this, and you explain to them. Then they will look at it. That's we call it pre-operative stage, but that is part of the preparation. After preparation, the the facilitator may require to instruct or to launch the activity. You instruct, you give instruction. Let's do it now, let's start. Are we together? Are we together? So the instructor will give the instruction and launch the activity. Then the student can now go and do whatever they want to do. Then at the end of the day, they should be evaluated. And this evaluation consists of engaging debriefing, reflective discussion, and the application of pre-planned assessment to determine whether the intended learning outcome have been realized. If even they themselves will do it for themselves, if it is not realized, they may have to go back. But do you normally give them learning outcomes? If you don't, they won't know what, there won't be anything to guide them. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Now, having said this, we're rounding up. The idea is to have a transformed student, well prepared, or a transformed learner, well prepared for the challenges of the world. Are we together? How? Because the training process has impacted them. So experiential learning complete the student's preparation for chosen career, reinforcing course content and theory through doings. Because they have been made to do, they have been made to participate, they now know more, know better the course content. And they discover, after discovering the various things they discover in the process of teaching, they reflect on them. And that they can apply. Now, there's some areas where we have, I want to round up with this slide so that I will not go further. Now, there are some areas, I want to give us some examples where this thing has been used effectively. For example, please go to the slide before this. Okay. For example, in internship, in higher education, in internship training, when students are posted to the laboratory or posted to the hospital to learn, they are meant to do it. Before you see the teacher will do something, ask them to start doing it. Before you know it, student nurses have started injecting you. Have you noticed that before? The student nurses, because they are meant to do. But this time around, they are doing it with humans. But they have been trained before then. They are doing it with humans. And that will be their first time of doing it with humans. All right? But they learn from it. That's what we call learning on the job. They learn on it. The initial experiences, like we have medical doctors around us, when hazmatship training, they post the students, those newly trained doctors come to the hospital, they are exposed to the consultants, the consultant will tell them what to do, it goes to the ward with them, the consultant does it, and they will pick up from there. So that is a typical example. Then student teaching. One of the reasons teachers are better in terms of passing information or delivering lecture to their students than most of us that do not pass through that training is because they have been trained. And because they are trained, they undergo teaching practice. At that teaching practice period, they are meant to do what they were taught in classroom. They are meant to administer it or to experience it, apply it. And that application makes them better. But I bet you the first time you taught was when you got employed into the university and you were given a course to teach. And ideally, you should follow this mentor-mentee pathway so that the professor in the class, the most senior member of staff in the class, the junior ones, very junior ones, will be attached to them. So when they go to class together, my colleagues will bear me witness that when I joined Unimed, there was a professor that was taking a course with me. I do go to class with that professor. I went to class with him. That was Professor Fasamade was teaching a course with me. I went to classes with him. That is how you learn from the senior one in that regard. Then field work and postdoc, that is studying abroad, postdoc and the rest of them have given us opportunity to learn from our teachers to do, and those type of learning are experiential learning. In conclusion, I'm telling us that we should practice this kind of learning, which is called experiential learning, learning centered on the learner or on the student, then learning by doings that will make the student do the things, make their mistakes, learn from it. Then you guide them so that their mistake will not destroy them. At the end of the day, they will apply the best knowledge and become the best in their career. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Emujere. We really appreciate this stuff that you have given on to us. So it's time for question and answer. I will like us to please ask just 2 questions, of which I think, okay, 2 questions. Actually, you had questions. Well, students, you can ask question. Dr. Adeniro is indicating interest. Students, I want to believe that the students are very much aware that this session is more of for the students. So please, try to ask question. Dr. Adeniro, okay, Doctor. I also have a question. Come.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Okay, so my question is this. I quite much agree with everything you have said. And whatever we can do in whatever situation we find ourselves, we should learn to adjust to experiential learning. And the reason cannot be overstated. Okay, so but I just want to ask, in a situation where we are bound by time to take a particular course or a part of the course, how can we do this? Because many of the times, it's not that we don't want to, it's not that we don't want our students to really experience this learning. But when you are bound by time, maybe you have been given a lot to take just in 2 classes. You will want to do everything as fast as possible to be able to meet that target of the timeline. How can we go about this in situations like this? Thank you, sir.
Doctor, okay. Then before I ask.
Mine is not a question. I just want to, it's just an addendum to add to the information so presented. You see, it's more of a student-centered learning experience or interaction. What it means is that the teacher also learns, even as he's trying to interact and engage the student into the process of learning. Then, but while executing this kind of learning, the student must also understand that responsiveness is very important. Feedback, because this learning that is centered on students required feedback. And that's why we give assignments to students. As a feedback, the project work they do, even in final year also, is also a feedback, which is majorly part of student-centered learning. So I want to encourage every student, both online and offline, that it is very important that when we are engaged in this type of learning, it's not majorly focused on the lecturers. The major concern here is not only the lecturers. Because there are times whereby you give students a kind of a work to do, and the student will not respond to the work. Why would they not fail? I happened to teach in one school, and I told myself that among all these universities I've taught, that one among them, I will not call the name of the university, that I taught. That's why I saw numbers of students fail, and I asked myself a question: does it mean the lecture that does it mean I was unable to communicate the information, or what happened? Then I discovered that the problem was, you see this era we are now. It's an era where even lecturers find it difficult to even communicate information to students. I must tell you the truth. Whereby students are no longer serious again. Then they focus more on the phone instead of getting information. Before they read one page of the book, they would have actually searched Facebook over and over, taking 2 hours. And then the time to get the information, the eyes is already getting close. And they will sleep and wake up the following day. An assignment will not be done. They will return back. That's the problem we have among our students. And it's a kind of a critical analysis that we've carried out in the university and among students. And then you look at it again, they must be social. Another thing again is that forex trading. They want to get money at all means. See, I asked myself a question, and I asked a young boy. I said, when have you started hustling? He said, I started hustling last year and I'm blow, I have money. And I say, I've been hustling for the over 10 years, 15 years now. I have not blow. So what will I do? And a young boy of 15 years, 16 years, 20 years will just get a car. And this kind of car is not something they sell for 3 million. They will tell you it's 15 million naira to get the car. So what do? You say, I'm pressing phone. What do? You say, I'm doing forex trading. So I have no understanding. So a young boy prompted me to go into forex trading. Because he told me he was doing forex trading. So I have to go and learn. I easily learn when I see you doing something. I say, okay, let me still learn it. So I went to learn forex trading. I discovered that most of my time is needed. And money is going. It has risk. So I have to learn. I learn. And I say, I've been learning. I try to understand the market. It's not coming. So why are you doing it that you don't lose, but you always get? And then, see, we should not be deceived. There are so many things people do now to make money. And so they focus more on the internet rather than on the book work. So on this note, I want to say that the problem is not only the lecturer of how to communicate the information. The problem is also coming from the student. If the student is not receptive to receive the information, it bounces back, no matter what. See, believe you me, it's not a proud. My students, some of them, they are online listening to me. And they will also confirm it in my own respective university. See, I'm proud to say that when I hold an information to deliver, I deliver it well with understanding. But the question is that why would my student fail? Why? It's a big problem, sir. And it's something that to resolve this kind of a problem, I think it will also take prayer. Some of the students need prayer. Some need prayer. Let's be real to ourselves. Some need total discipline. And so I want to end my speech here. To the students that are here, if you are part of the category that is not responsive and receptive to information, rather than focusing on Facebook and WhatsApp for 1 hour, 2 hours, it will always be a problem of learning. I can put my phone down, working with system, for one day I may not look at my phone. So you can do the same in the process of your learning.
Sir, please, I'm coming. I wanted to.
Thank you very much. I didn't meet the beginning of this lecture. I'm sorry, I was a little bit late. But then, from what I could pick, that was why I was trying to answer your question of those large class and the small class. As far as I'm concerned, the more the class, the more difficult it is to pass the message across. But when you now rate them the same way, this little class 60%, this other one 60, it's not the same thing. In fact, if you are giving the larger class
So please, the teachers are trying. Sometimes it's on the student part. So let's help our students. Just like we said, they need prayers. Some of them need prayers. I know what they do in class. You'll be surprised. Then, I don't know, maybe you said this. Another way we can help them is to organize seminars. I don't know, maybe it was part of your discussion. You see, when you give them seminar topics, I think right from, you can start from maybe 300 level, if it's a 5-year course. But if it's 4 years course, encourage them early enough.
Of 7 works yesterday was not up to the time each of the keynote speakers use. Why? Because you have divided the topics. And before you know, within that short period of time, they will still be able to meet up. Now, remember, you are to guide them. Because you are guiding them, you are facilitating you are the timekeeper. They are not the timekeeper. You are the timekeeper. So you are facilitating the process. You guide them on what to do at a particular time, how to do it. The most important point there is that you must give them a learning outcome, an objective that they must stick to. Once they are able to stick to it, and if they are able to achieve it, what are we waiting for? Is it the grammar? They have to be able to achieve it. That, yes, the objective is that they should be able to define that subject matter. And all of them cannot define it. What are you waiting for? Why are we wasting the time? So you can actually use your time. There's also what we call time management. Be able to manage your time. The expression learning is student-centered, or they should be involved in doing. Doesn't mean that you are not still in charge of the class. You are in charge of the class. All right? Then she said about digital learning. Whether you are digital or not digital, exponential learning is for everybody. What we are saying, whether you are using a digital method or not, it should be student-centered. So if you are using a digital method, they themselves, remember yesterday we said that every one of us should go and upgrade, and he also said it this morning, should upgrade. So to whom that has ear, the Bible says that they should do what? They should hear. we are to learn. We cannot force, even we cannot force our students to learn. How much more forcing those higher than us, those that will assess us to learn. We can never force our children at home to learn. We can only guide them. So let us guide them. Once you're able to guide them, and you take charge, you are still in charge, but leaving the doing part to them, let them be the one doing it. With that, we're able to achieve the goals of experiential learning. And Dr. Mega said that it's not always the fault of the teacher. We are not saying that it is the fault of the teacher. But what we are saying here is that in this learning methods, let us focus the attention on the students. We have been doing it before, the other way. We have been trying. They have been failing. Why don't we try the other way? Let's give it a try and see if it will work. If it works, we stick to it. And the people that came up with this also actually discovered in their various research and various experiments that, yes, that it worked. And they suggested it, and it's part of the educational, the training process in the West. I was saying that, now let's bring it home, full, let's try it. Now, if you are lecturing 5 topics, try it with one of these and see whether it works. When you want to assess the student, you will be able to see the one that works better. Let's evolve the students. Give them the doing right. Let them do the doings. Then we will show our workings. Thank you. I think I've answered, but there's someone who wanted to ask a question here. So I wanted that to ask. Yes. Okay, you want to ask too? Okay. Our next presenter is online and she's ready. You know, those in the UK, they work with time.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation and the contributions. So may God help with the students in Jesus' name. So beyond devices that are associated
meet up to finish curriculum, finish the course content. And it is expected that you finish the course content. And there are so many factors that lecturers rush to finish the course content. For example, a semester is meant to be 15 weeks. A semester is meant to be 15 weeks for undergraduates. And for that 15 weeks, maybe school, there was strike for some time. There was a public holiday. For example, if I'm supposed to lecture on Monday, I don't like my lectures to be Mondays and Fridays because they are likely going to be public holidays someday. So if I have my way, my lectures will not be Fridays, they will not be Monday. Because once there's public holiday, it means that you don't have 15 weeks to teach the course again. And the inventor of the course wanted you to teach it for 15 weeks. The curriculum, the pedagogy wanted you to teach it for 15 weeks. And public holiday has taken 1 week from it, or at times 2 weeks. By the time you have Easter and Salah together, April and so you have taken 2 weeks out of it. God help if you are taking Friday. God help if you are taking Friday and Monday. So you have taken like 4 weeks out of it. So at the end of the day, what happened? Place to rush to meet up, but it's not left for the lecturer. You know what you taught very well, right? You know what you actually took time to teach. And remember, there is course, what we call learning outcome. And you know what you should focus on. So in the process of rushing, trying to meet up with this, you focus on what is in the learner's learning outcome. Focus on it, ensure that the student gets those ones. Leave the extracurricular, the ones that are not relevant, so that the student can get the best. Later, you give it to them as assignment. They can go and read it up and know it. This will help us to meet up with time. Thank you very much for your time. And on this note, we'll be going to the next presenter, so the head of the department will introduce the next presenter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate you. So we'll be taking the next part of the workshop, which is on career pathways in physiology, taken by Mrs. Fabode Lucy Babanifemi. She's online, so we'll listen to her as she speaks to us. Okay. Please, if you can hear me, you can come up.
Good everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you to my lecturers. It's such a pleasure to be back. So I'm going to be speaking on career prospects in physiology and also navigating the professional landscape. I don't have any slides, sir. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I forgot that. Can I carry on now? Okay. So I'm going to be speaking on the career prospects in physiology and also navigating the professional landscape. I know for some of us, we plan to study physiology, or you found yourself in physiology because you were not given the course you wanted. And so you're trying to figure out, should I stay, or I'm here already, I will just do it. And you're wondering if there's more to physiology. And you're asking yourself questions like, what can I do with physiology, and how do I build a successful career? And I'm here to answer that for you today. So I will walk us through the career opportunities in physiology, and also both locally and internationally, just how to figure out your way in the career. Physiology is a foundation degree. We all know that it connects medicine, it connects research, it also connects technology. Physiology is a very interesting course. It develops your analytical skills. It helps you in your problem solving skills and also your data interpretation. I want to say today that physiology does not limit you. In fact, it gives you many options. But the options can be quite confusing and due to different reasons, but most especially if there is no direction. So just to narrow it down, I will first start on the career prospects. So I've narrowed them down into 4. The first one I'll be talking about is the clinical or the healthcare prospects. So under this, we have different types of, different pathways or different prospects. We have the cardiac physiologist, the respiratory physiologist, neurophysiologist, and also we have clinical scientist. So for myself, I'm a cardiac physiologist. And what that entails is I'm a physiologist that specializes in cardiology. Simple and short. So any procedure or any test that involves cardiology, like ECG, electrocardiography, echocardiography, pacemaker, exercise stress test, and a lot more. That's what I'm doing right now. And I work with NHS Scotland. And I'm sharing this because I want us to have an idea of the possibility in physiology. So the second one I'll talk about is in terms of research and academia. As having physiology as an undergraduate course, to go into research and academia, you need to develop your understanding and knowledge. So you do the MSc, you do the PhD, you become a lecturer or a scientist. Also, under research, you can do clinical trials. We have a lot of physiologists doing clinical trials, and also they work in the lab. During COVID, there were some physiologists that were working in the lab and they were carrying out trials just to figure out some of the things that were necessary. But most of these pathways, it takes persistence and patience, and it's rewarding, but you need to read more and learn more about that. So the third one I'll be speaking on is the industry or innovation. So these physiologists are the physiologists that they work with pharmaceutical companies. Some physiologists work with medical devices. So devices that we use in the hospitals, devices like Medtronic, Johnson & Johnson, Abbott Laboratory, GE Healthcare. I don't know if any of us have heard of this. Boston Scientific, we have physiologists that work with them. I know one of the first female physiologists in Nigeria. She's currently working with one of them. And also we have clinical research organizations. So you can work with, there is a British Heart Foundation. You can work with that. You can work with even cancer research foundations. These are foundations that you can always work with. And you can work and in terms of working with them, you can work as a clinical research associate, you can work as a medical science liaison, and this aspect of physiology helps with, if you're going into the business aspect or the innovation or the technological aspect of physiology. The fourth one is the sports rehab and applied physiology. So under this, we have people who work closely with athletes. They work with sporting centers. We have exercise physiologists, cardiac rehab science specialists. We have sports scientists. And all of these You might be wondering, where are these opportunities? I think the main thing to ask is, how do I position myself to be able to know which aspect I'm interested in, and also to position yourself. So before I go into the how to navigate all of this, I think one thing I would like to establish is having a physiology degree is not enough, because most people feel lost after school. I felt the same way. I remember during final year, and I very lovely. I enjoyed physiology as a course, but you just wonder, after now, what am I going to do? There's lots of competition, and even around you, it's probably not helping. People are saying there's no job for physiologists, and it felt very cumbersome. But I remembered during our final year, brethren, a lawyer came and she was talking about, even if you don't understand what was happening, some of the things you should do is trying to figure out the things you want, even if you don't know how to go about it. And she said something, she made a reference to, when she wanted to serve, and she told herself, no, I'm not going to a school to teach. And I held on to that. I was like, I'm not going to teach. I'm not going to teach any biology once I have no idea how I'm going to do that. But as I aligned my mind with that, I just realized that everything aligned with that. And I reached out to a very good friend, the president of the alumni, because he went to an hospital during our IT. And he told me, and I remember the first day I went to the hospital, and they were asking me, how did you know about us? I was like, a friend told me, and I need to do my NYSC here. And they were wondering, which audacity is this? I was like, I just need a job, sir. I don't care for the money. I just need to work here, because I know that I enjoy working in an hospital. So these are some of the things to put in mind. To also have a strategy. So how to navigate the professional landscape? I think the first thing is choose your direction early. Even if you don't have a perfect plan, you don't even know what's going to happen. Like I said, you might be confused. You don't understand what to do with physiology, but know the things you want for yourself. Excuse me. If you want to work in the hospital, if you want to teach, or you want to go into research, just know those things early. Even if you don't have a perfect plan, it's just very important to choose a direction early and stick to that. The second one would be build practical skills. So most employers want to employ people with skills. So you want to work in the hospital, you need to know basic interaction with patients, empathy. If you're interested in cardiac physiology like myself, the basic is ECG interpretation. There are different courses that I see on LinkedIn. But ECG interpretation is very important. If you want to be a researcher, data analysis is something that should be a skill that it should be very important to you. Also, then when we go deeper into it, you can for respiratory physiologists, you need to know about lung function and all of that. But basic skill, even if it's soft skill, how to communicate, also how to be empathic. All of these skills will make you employable, because the degree alone will make you qualified, but having these skills will make you employable. So the third one would be to gain the experience very early. I know that sometimes it can be quite difficult in Nigeria, but again, having that mindset that this is what I want to do, which is why the first thing to do is to have a direct plan first. So you want to gain the experience early, and early is not in terms of age. Early is when you are ready, like, right, this is what I want to do with my physiology career, and this is what I want to do. So we have internships, and in case there is no internship, you can volunteer, you can shadow, the truth is, sometimes we don't have the confidence to actually say, right, I'm going to that office to submit my CV. I'm a student and this is what I want to do. This is what I can offer. I think we should start doing that more. And I think it's very beneficial. So internship, volunteering, shadowing, and also offer the employer something and say, sir, I have this. Don't worry, I can do this. Just having that confidence, it can actually help. Because one of the questions that the employer will ask you as a new graduate is, what can you do? Or can you do the job? Which is why all of this is very important, because there are so many things to learn on the job. And even if you plan to migrate, leave Nigeria, some of the things you learn in Nigeria is very crucial to how you do your work here or wherever you migrate to. The fourth thing I'll speak about when you are trying to navigate your professional landscape is you need to find mentors. You need to find people that pour into you. You need to have people that you can ask questions. You need to be able to have people around you that you can observe and stay connected. I remember vividly when we were in school, and the informations were quite limited. And I remember just going on Google and just asking so many questions about physiology. And questions like, do physiologists have work? Like very mundane questions to someone else, but it was just trying to figure out what a physiologist actually does, like in the real world. So ask questions, observe professionals. You don't even need to know them personally. You can go on LinkedIn and just search, go through their profiles and say, right, this is what I'm interested in. Let me look for people in that line of work and just observe them. You don't even need to be close to them. Just observe them. Stay connected with people of like-minded. If you know someone or have someone, even if it's a friend, that you are in the same line of thought, make sure that you guys grow together and you are always connected, and also with other people to get more information. Number 5 would be strategic with your further education. Don't just, after your degree, don't just do MSc because everybody is doing MSc. Don't do PhD or don't say, oh, everybody is doing first ECG training, so I'm going to go and do that. No. Be particular about what you want. Know what you want and also be strategic with it. So MSc, I'm doing an MSc in what course? I'm doing a PhD in what course? I'm getting certifications. And the truth is, it doesn't even have to be in the professional. You can get courses on communication. You can get courses on leadership. You can get courses on different topics just to build all those soft skills aside from the practical skills. But be strategic with them. Everybody's journey is quite personal and is very different. So please don't just do MSc because everyone is doing it. If you don't have courses if you don't know what to do, like we said before, ask questions, find people, be strategic with it. please don't just do it, because in the long run it's very important. And then you find out that some of the things you do in the long run, it just adds up. Number 6 would be build a professional identity. So just like now, you are attending a conference. Fantastic. Do presentations, attend conferences. Please have a LinkedIn profile. Please have a LinkedIn profile. I can't overemphasize that. It's too important. I know that people say LinkedIn, people on LinkedIn, they overemphasize things. But the truth is, find your community on LinkedIn and have a LinkedIn profile. Put yourself out there. I think one of the misconceptions in Nigeria is physiology is not a professional course, which I do not agree at all. Physiology is an absolutely professional course, and it's so important. So please start seeing yourself as a professional, even if the world around you doesn't see you as a professional. So I'm going to say that in whatever you do, please make sure that you are very intentional. You are very, very intentional about physiology as a course. I got into cardiac physiology from my NYSC. So I went to an hospital in Lagos and I worked for about 2 years. And then I built skills. I had experience with. I worked in Lasut, one of the busiest hospitals in Lagos. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to be sure. Okay, so one of the busiest hospitals in Lagos, and it was not an easy experience at all, but it was absolutely worth it. So going in and knowing as little as what I know now compared to that time is such a huge difference. But just the willingness to work, and you see people that have been doing physiology that have been in the clinical ward for years, and you're like, oh my God, I never knew something like this is happening in this part of the world, because everything you hear about physiology is very limited, so. And so it just exposed and gave me a different perspective about physiology. And then I learned ECGs, I learned echo, I learned lung function test, I learned exercise test, alter, how to interpret. I did all of that before I migrate family, and I'm still doing that. And I'm trying to, right now, I'm pivoting out of that to go into invasive cardiology. So the pacemaker, electrophysiology in particular, because I'm very much interested in that. So I want to employ most especially new students or newly graduates that there is a future in physiology. Even right now, we're having consultants in physiology. So they've gone through every aspect of physiology, especially in the clinical world. And now they are consulting, and that's how they make money. So every role, especially in the clinical aspect, is growing. Even in the research aspects, the world is becoming more accepting of physiologists, and I think we should accept ourselves. So technology is also integrating into this. We see the use of AI, the use of imaging in echo. We have 3D echo, we have 4D echo, so clear. You can see the imaging of the heart. So all of these things are things to look out for. And also there is a high demand for specialists. I know it can be cumbersome, but starting from somewhere would help, so that you can look back and say, right, in the next 10 years or so, I've done something. And even if you think, right, I don't want to use my physiology degree for something, in whatever you do, just make sure you're the best at it. And if you want to be a lecturer, if you want to be a researcher, if you want to do something completely out of this, making sure that whatever you do, you are best at it. I want to say that physiology is not a dead end degree. Absolutely not. Please, no. If you did not hear anything I've been saying, please, this is very important. Physiology is an absolute degree that is very essential. It's a professional course, but your success depends on how you use it. So just to repeat everything I've said, start early, believe in yourself, trust in yourself that this degree, I will make something out of it. Even if I don't use physiology to work, the soft skills I've learned being a student should count for something. Stay curious. Go on Google, ask ChatGPT anything. There's no stupid question. Connect on LinkedIn, ask people questions. Make sure that you surround yourself with like-minded people. Also, build the skills, seek guidance. I remember my first exposure to the clinical world or any aspect of physiology, just as you are now, is going to a university. So that is very essential. Going to a university and hearing from your lecturers and learning from them. So seek guidance. Also, I want to say, never speak anything negative about your career or physiology in itself. I know some of us, we don't intend to study physiology and we're like, oh my God, this medicine that they didn't give me. But trust me, please don't say anything negative about the work of your hand. You want to be positive at all times, because when you are prepared, then you know, and then everything would align. And also, lastly, I would say, please be intentional about your growth. It is your growth, and no one will do the work for you. You would do the work for yourself. You would be very particular about everything you are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your presentation. She said physiology is not a dead end. That is to our undergraduate students. I believe you heard that very well. Physiology is not a dead end. So it's not always about, I didn't get medicine. So do you have a question for her? If you have just 2 questions for her. She's one of our first graduates in Unimed Physiology. She's the first set. So and she's currently the first set, Abby? Uh-huh. So she's a clinical physiologist and currently in the UK. Do you have any question for her? Our undergraduate students, I believe you have heard what she said. You shouldn't be discouraged. Keep hope alive. Okay, if you don't have any question for her, I think our next presenter is online. Okay, you have a question. Sorry, our presenter, I hope you are still on. Someone has a question for you.
Can you hear me? It's out of line. Okay. I Just want to add to the lecture briefly, and also for our student here. This platform is majorly to create opportunities and leakages. So I want to say that physiology here in Nigeria is becoming so worrisome. I must say this: I'm a physiologist. I'm a biomedic who went further to read physiology, second degree, and then third degree, then physiology. But the issue about physiology in Nigeria is so concerning that every student is complaining because of the limited opportunities that we have. Where we have founders that are expected to create industries, ending up creating what I call hotels for accommodation. So no one further create industry against, neither even encourage research in this country. And so I want to use this opportunity, applauding your lecture that you have delivered to us, that please, now that you are away from this country, with an opportunities all over in that way, and we all want to employ our students here to have that leakages with you. So that same way of you getting all this training and also this knowledge as regards to what you are also pursuing, the students that are coming up can also flow alongside. The leakages is what I am encouraging to be established between you as the presenter and that of the students we have here that are also coming up. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. So, do we have any other question for her? If we don't, okay.
Mine
Dr.
is not a
Emojire.
question, just to tell us that we actually has that linkage with the Department of Physiology. And many a time when we do our conferences, our programs, she do speak to us from time to time. And we have a physiology alumni group that every graduate of physiology in UNIMED must be on that WhatsApp group. And she's there also. She do send opportunities, there was sometime last year, the UNIMED alumni invited her to give a speech also. So she has been up and doing, she has been supporting the department. I think we should give her a round of applause.
Thank you very much. So, thank you so much, presenter. We really appreciate your time that you have given us. I think our next presenter is ready. So, Professor Alagmosi, I believe you should be online now. We're ready for you. If you can hear me, please, you can speak up, sir. This is going to be the last part of the presentation or the workshop for today. Thank you very much. We really enjoyed ourselves today. Okay. Please, let's hold on for a few minutes. For people online, please, you can give us a minute. Hello? Okay. Okay, someone has a comment for her online. I hope she's still online. By Aigbedion Andrew, okay, one of our PhD students. He said, conferences like this is not only for academic purposes, but also for connections and link up. I would like the presenter to share a LinkedIn community group and share with everyone. Okay. We'll get to her to send it on the group. We actually formed a WhatsApp group for the purpose of this conference. So we are going to pass some of this information on that WhatsApp group by the time we are done. We'll definitely get to connect with one another. Okay, we'll do the award presentation. We'll do the award presentation now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. Who can remind me of yesterday's slogan? Bio-synergy. Nobody is talking. Yes, bio-synergistically we stand. I know we are all eager to actually know the outcome of yesterday's exercise, academic exercise. Yes, we had oral presentations and also poster presentations. And so, to the glory of God, we are done with the assessments. And now we have results for the best poster presentation and also for the best oral presentation. Please, that envelope. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, before I go ahead, I would like to invite the HOD, the head of the Department of Physiology. Yes, the head of the Department of Physiology, in person of Dr. Eunice Ogunwale, to kindly present this award. So for the best oral presentation, yeah, we have this title, Bioconversion of Partial Americana Seed Waste into Alpha Amylase using Bacillus subtilis enhanced fermentation. And that was presented by Oluwatofumi Esther Odutayo. Mr. Victor.
To you. Thank you so much for doing so well. Big congratulations to you, Ma. Congratulations. Look at the photographer. Okay. She left the mother, right?
All right. So for the best poster presentation, we have the research topic, potential of ethanol leaf extract of justicial secunda, compared with 5 fluorouracil in trichloroacetic acid induced hepatocellular carcinoma in male viscera, presented by Ayomide Karimat. Ori Ade. Thank you.
So, congratulations to you, Ma, on this award. We are happy for you.
All right, thank you. Congratulations to all other presenters. On this note, I think, okay, I would like to call on the next presenter online. Okay, yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead. 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 Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. conference, after which we call it a day. We have actually tried. Let's just exercise a little more patience. 5 minutes at most, it should speak to us. And the presentation is going to be very brief. All right, it's going to be very brief so that we go on time. All right, thank you very much. Media. All right, thank you. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for your patience. We have waited for the professor that was supposed to speak to us, but he's kind of engaged and they are giving us a nod to continue with our programs. So what it means is that we have finally come to the end of this year conference, Physiology Conference 2026. And with the theme, Biosynergy, Integrative Physiological Research and Advanced Technologies for a Healthier Nation. The host department is Department of Physiology, and it collaborated with the Physiological Society UK, and here is the executive summary of the conference. The Biosynergy Physiology Conference successfully brought together researchers, academicians, students from different parts of the world. So some attended virtually and some attended in physical. The conference focused on transiting from reactive healthcare to a predictive, scalable model that leveraged Nigeria's unique technological ecosystem to improve health outcome nationwide. Of course, we have two keynote presenters, and the first one was Professor Chukwuemeka Nwokosha, that spoke to us all the way from Jamaica, West Indies. And this work focused on modeling natural product research through artificial intelligence, of which he told us how we can overcome the traditional limits and using the AI computational tools and replacing the time-consuming manual isolation and trial and error bioassays. The second speaker was Dr. Mega Obukoko Oyomi, and he spoke extensively on developing synergy at a scale. And the conference highlighted synergy at scale as the fundamental framework for a healthier nation, defined by powerful contributions and digital tools and human expertise. There were various presentations during the conference. We had oral presentations. We also have poster presentations from various presenters. And in conclusion, we all agreed that there should be a collaborative ecosystem whereby we collaborate and synergize to ensure that there's improvement in our healthcare system. And to round the program up, we had a career talk from one of our pioneer students, pioneer graduates of this institution that spoke to us from the United Kingdom. That was the person of Fabode, Lucy, yes. Now I was trying to get the new name. There's a new name that I was trying to get. So, and we all agree that the Physiology Conference 2026 has been a success. Do we agree to that? Do we agree to that? Has been a very successful conference, and we hope to have you again same period next year, 2027, by the grace of God, if He actually permits us to have us again. Let us not stop here. Let us start the collaboration. The idea was for us to have linkages connections which we have created. I will also dwell on how we can impart this knowledge, the best way to impart the knowledge we have from this conference and the knowledge we have as lecturers to our students by dwelling on experiential learning. Let us try our best to inculcate this into our day-to-day activities, and we hope that when we meet again, we will all have testimonies from this conference. On that note, I want to appreciate the management led by the Vice Chancellor, the Physiological Society of whom I represent, the head of the dean, the head of department that all came to support us, the hardworking conference organizing committee. I appreciate you so much for your effort, for the effort you put in place to ensure that the conference is successful. To our attendees, everybody that attended the conference, I think you deserve a round of applause for the time spent together and for the collaboration we are ready to kickstart. Yes, I want to also thank someone that is in our midst. That is the person of Dr. Jenny Ron, who happens to be the person in charge of welfare. And not also that she co-won the grant with me for this conference. While I won one part, she won the second part that we merged together to organize this conference. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being so supportive and for taking the bold step to apply for the conference. We hope you apply again so that we can organize a better one next year. And we also have to thank her for the delicious meal she provided for us. Have you got to the one of today? Let's try and get yours as you go out. Make sure you get your meal. Use your meal ticket. Use it very well. On that note, I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you and say that we'll see again next year. Thank you very much. So on this note, can we have the Unimed anthem to close the event? Media team, please. Unimed anthem to close the event.
Nigeria.